Hello and welcome to Free Advice Friday, where we meet every Friday at 10 a.m. Eastern to talk about publishing, marketing, and the business of being an author. If you'd like to join us live, you can do so by going to newshelves.com/FAF for Free Advice Fridays. You can also watch the replays on YouTube simply by going to youtube.com/newshelvesbooks. So we have some questions that were emailed in this week that we're going to jump right into. And the first question was from Jenny. And Jenny had a question about price barcodes. So as you know, if you've been around Free Advice Friday or New Shelves for a while, I highly recommend that when you are trying to get your book into retail stores, bookstores, Barnes and Noble, especially if you're going through places like Ingram Spark, which is print on demand, I recommend that you have a priced barcode. This is required for many retail stores. And Jenny's question was, okay, but what happens with a price barcode if it's in a different country in a different currency? So if I have a price barcode set for US currency, what happens in Canada? Can I have it work for both? And the question here is a little bit tricky. So unfortunately, your price barcode only has one price on it. It does not auto convert. So if you were doing a price barcode for the US, let's say your book's $20. So you have a $20 marker in your priced barcode. It shows up right in with your ISBN. And when your barcode is scanned, it brings up that $20 for point of sale systems. So when you do that, what happens if that book goes to Canada? Well, it pulls it up in US dollars. It does not auto convert. So what happens is if you're selling your book in other markets, let's say your main price is the US. And so that is where that you have, that's the price that you put in your barcode. If your book sells in the UK, what they will probably do is they will probably either have a system that will auto convert, or they will simply take a sticker, they'll place it over your barcode with their own barcode with their own price in pounds. Same thing if you're going to Canada. What happens? They will probably use a sticker over your barcode that is specific to Canadian dollars. Now that's for print on demand. If we're talking about big publishers, big trade publishers, they actually may have different print runs for different countries. So you may see that the actual barcode and sometimes even the book cover is different for books in different countries. So it depends a little bit if you're doing offset print, if your main market is US, if you think that this book is mainly going to sell in the UK. Well, you might go ahead and just do, UK pounds instead of doing the dollar when doing your price barcode. That's something you would need to know your market a little bit more than anything else, so that you know where you'll be selling and you go with your biggest market for your price barcode. The rest will kind of take care of themselves. Let's see. And we have a question from Howard about the benefits of using Scribe Count to track all of your book sales. So Scribe Count is a software, I believe it's a paid software or tool that you can connect all your sales accounts to and track all your book sales. So you can connect Drafted Digital and Kobo and Barnes and Noble. You can connect KDP and Ingram Spark, and it will track all of your book sales in one spot. I will say that I personally don't think that there's a benefit for the average author who's only got a book or two out. Chances are you only have a couple of logins. You've probably got Ingram Spark, maybe KDP, Drafted Digital. So there's only 3 places to look for your sales at. And those are easy enough to log into that I personally wouldn't be able to justify the expense of the program to track the sales. Now, if that's not you, or let's say that you have, I don't know, maybe you have 50 books. Maybe you are uploading directly to Kobo and you're uploading directly to Apple and Google and all of those other places. It may be worth it for you. I think the important thing is that it doesn't increase your sales at all. It makes tracking a little bit more convenient for you, but the convenience really only matters if you are uploading in many different places and getting sales in many different places, or if you have a big backlist of books that you're trying to keep track of. So that's when it would be more valuable. But for the average author, I don't think the expense is worth it, in my opinion. Again, it's a convenience factor. Is it worth it to you is the bigger question. Let me see, got that one answered. We have a couple of questions on Amazon ads. So the first question is, I've had varying results using Amazon ads to promote my children's books. I wonder if I should hire an expert to specifically educate me and walk me through the process, or if it is a crapshoot even with a so-called expert. And this is a good question. So here's the thing that you should know about ads, and it ties into the next question as well, is that Amazon ads are a great way to get more people to see your books and therefore hopefully buy them. But you do have to look at how much you make per sale and how much you're spending per sale. And you also need to know that the more books or products you have out, the more worthwhile ads are. The reason being is because you have more to sell. If you have a series of books, let's say, well, if you're looking at the spend to the sale for book one, you may be going, I'm losing money. It's not equaling out. But you really have to look at, if you sell book one in the series and you're maybe losing a little bit of money, are you making that back through read through of the series? Is the average reader reading through the series? Because that's where you'll make your money. Sometimes you have what we call a loss leader, which means you have one book leading in that is your loss leader. You're spending money to sell this book essentially, but you're making all of your money back on your backlist. So whether that's a series, or let's say you write psychological thrillers, and so you write psychological thrillers and you're selling one book with ads, but then you've got great read through to where readers then find you and read 5 more of your books. Well, then you're going to earn your profit back on the other 5 books. So I think that's something that you need to consider and you need to track. A great way to track the read through on this is to use Amazon attribution links in your back matter. So we now have Amazon attribution links, which allows us to create a tracking link for your books right in Amazon. It's free. All authors have access to this through the Amazon advertising dashboard. If you use KDP, you access it that way. If you were a traditionally published author, or you do not have your books up in KDP, you access this through Author Central through the Marketing and Reports tab. And so you can create these tracking links for each of your books. So when you have your also buy list, you can use a tracking link for each one of those and track how much read through you're getting either on a series, or if you have books, if you have a list of books because they're all standalones, using tracking links allows you to see if you get someone to read one book, are they going over and buying your other books? So not only is it important to advertise for yourself in the back of your books, in your back matter, but it's also important to link to those books. And when we're talking about ebook specifically, use attribution links in your back matter so you can track your own read through, not just by sales correlation, but by actually having a tracking link that shows if you have Amazon sales. And that will let you know if you're getting great read through. And I'll say one really hopes for at least 30% read through. But if you can get 60% read through, you're doing great and you're probably profitable. So having that process set up so you can track and see, well, then that allows you to look at your overall sales that are coming from that one book sale. And I often say that the Amazon ad dashboard is something you have to be a little bit careful about because it only tells you part of the story. The Amazon ad dashboard tells you exactly how many people clicked on this ad, how many people bought this exact book within a 2-week window, and that's it. But if someone puts it in their cart or they put it on their wish list for later, or if someone clicks on one book and then ends up going to another of your books and buys the book, it doesn't track any of that. So it's really important that you're looking at your overall ad spend compared, not even just to your retail sales, but compared to your royalties on Amazon. You need to look at big picture. So I always say, yes, look at your ad dashboard, look at your ACOS, look at what you're spending versus what you're making and what your retail sales are. But don't stop there. You also need to go and you need to be pulling weekly or monthly reports for your total royalties versus what you're spending. And if you are spending less than your overall royalties, and if you're seeing an overall increase in your royalties due to your ads, then those are viable ads. So you do need to keep that in mind, especially, by the way, if you have number one, a series, number two, if your books are in Kindle Unlimited, you need to be tracking that because Kindle Unlimited can bring in quite a bit of money. I have clients that make a couple thousand every month just in Kindle Unlimited page reads. So don't write that off as not being worth it or not being a real sale. You're making money on that, and therefore it's a real sale. And to kind of round back around on, should you hire someone to go over that with you? That's really something that, again, it's an investment. You have to decide if it's worth it for you. There are a lot of free programs. There are online and YouTube classes that can be very helpful. So if you're just looking to learn about ads and you've got the time to learn, that can be really helpful just to go find your free resources or even a paid course. But where the value comes in on hiring someone to actually go into your ad account with you and look at your ads is that it's not hypothetical. It's not, well, if you see this, it might be this. It's someone looking at your ad dashboard, your keywords specifically, your book, your backlist, and your royalties. So if you're struggling to find out if ads are worthwhile for you after kind of taking into consideration the things I just said, I do think it can be valuable to hire an expert or a consultant to look at your ads with you, to give you advice, not hypothetically, but for your books and your backlist specifically, to actually get hands-on and maybe help you troubleshoot some problem areas. I have clients that have said, I don't think my ads are profitable. I'm going to turn them off. And they just turn them off. And I'll go, whoa. Let's go look at your ads together. And what we found in many cases is that when they turn ads off because they thought they weren't profitable, their overall sales and royalties went down. They made less money. True, they weren't spending ad money, but they were still actually earning overall less profits because those ads not only were getting attention to one book and selling that book, they were getting read through, and it was giving them an overall algorithm uplift on Amazon. So their book was being shown more naturally, because we have to consider that as well. The more your book is bought, the more people review your book, the more Amazon algorithms go, oh, this is a good book. People like it. We should show it to more people because we make money when we do, because it sells. So I do feel like it's valuable if you're kind of in that spot. I do think it is very valuable to have someone to look at your ads with you. Now, either someone who specifically does ad work or someone who does like consulting hours. So I know I'm a little shady, but New Shelves does do hour-long consulting, and we do ad work. So if you are looking for someone to go into your dashboard with you, look over your ads, make suggestions. Sometimes even if your keywords are off, sometimes we end up giving you new keywords. So if you're looking for something like that and you would like to discuss, just let me know, because that is something that New Shelves does offer. Let me see. If the attribution goes in the back matter, then you have to completely redo the formatting and upload that book again. You do have to redo the formatting. So that's why it's much easier if you're doing your own formatting, like with Atticus or Vellum. Sometimes you can just go back to your formatter and ask for those minor changes, and they'll do it for you for a small fee. It just depends. But it does mean uploading a new file because you're creating a new book file. Correct. Let me see. And Caroline, I have done a video where I recorded creating the attribution links on Freed-Based Friday, but I don't think that I've broken that out into a YouTube video. I will look and I will find out for you. But I have in past Freed-Based Fridays. I know I've done it. So I'm sure if I look back, I think it came out November, December, and I think I went over it then. So I'll take a look back. How important is the Goodreads author page? Goodreads author page is one more spot it's just one more spot where it's easy for you to get readers. People are browsing around on Goodreads looking for books all the time. So having a Goodreads profile and an author profile set up gives you one more point of exposure that you don't have to pay for. And I think that's always a good thing. Now, as far as what you do on Goodreads, you don't have to do a whole lot. You do not have to go into Goodreads every day and baby it. Goodreads is a really great way to do giveaways when you've got a book coming up. Goodreads giveaway prior to your launch is what I recommend, is a good way to kind of get potential reviewers, get interest in your book. It's a good place to upload if you have videos or if you have book trailers, you can put them on Goodreads and link to your book on Amazon. I've got a YouTube video on that. It's a good way to see reviews and get reviews. It's a nice way to get reviews before your book is alive on Amazon, because Amazon only allows you to put for customers to review something once the book is live. So if you have advanced readers who are like, I'm ready to leave a review and it's not live on Amazon yet, I always say send them to Goodreads, ask them to review on Goodreads, because that way you've got the review and it's easier to go back to them and say, hey, Amazon's now live. Would you mind copy and pasting that review over? I'd really appreciate it. So it's important. You should do it. It's not a lot of upkeep. It's not a lot of work. But is just having one going to sell your book? Probably not, or not many copies, but it's part of the overall strategy of making yourself and your book as visible as possible. And that's why it's important. And you can't run a Goodreads giveaway without having an author profile. And again, I highly encourage Goodreads giveaways prior to your book launches. Yeah, if I find that attribution video, guys, what I will do for the how to create an attribution link, what I'll do is I will break it out and I will create a YouTube video that just is how to create an Amazon attribution link. So I will do that for you. If I don't have it, I will make sure that I will create it. So just make sure that you are following the New Shelves YouTube channel so that you'll get notified when that is available. And I will make it a point to either find it or create one for you. So follow YouTube. Let's see. Do you use the 100,000 to 200,000 bestseller ranking only for the top line, or is that true with the categories too? That is just for the top line. So we might need a little show and tell here. Let me pull up an Amazon site and then we can look at bestseller rankings. Give me a minute. All right. Whoops. It would help if I could actually type when I was doing that. All right, give me 1 minute and I will port over and show you. All right. Excuse me. All right, found Zoom. I lost you guys for a minute. I've got too many tabs open. You know me. All right. I'm going to share my Amazon page. And Virginia, you asked, so I get to pick on you. All right, so we've got Virginia's book, Blood in the Bluegrass. And the question is, when we're looking at bestseller ranking, so we talked, I think it was last week, about how if you're in the top 100,000 to 200,000 on Kindle, that means that's a good indicator that your book is selling and regularly selling. So the question was, do we only look at the top 100,000 to 200,000 on the top line right here? Or do we look at it in each category? So we're only talking about, when I say 100,000 to 200,000, I'm talking specifically in the bestseller rank, which is the top one. Because as you can see, there's not even 100,000 books in the private investigator mysteries category, probably. So just talking about the bestseller ranking, when we are in these individual rankings, so these are category rankings. This is your bestseller ranking. This is your category ranking. So in your category rankings, we like to find niche category rankings. And our goal is, if we can stay in or close to the top 100, that's going to give you the best category ranking algorithm lift. Wow, that's a mouthful. But so we're looking for top 100,000 to 200,000 here. Says that your book is probably regularly showing. It's probably earning a profit, which is great. It's getting read, it's getting bought. In your categories, and it will depend. There are some categories that are just bigger and more competitive than others, but your biggest algorithm lift is going to be if you can find a niche category where you rank in the top 100, because in the top 100 in that category, you go on the category bestseller list. And when your book is in a category bestseller list, Amazon rankings go, ooh, top seller. This is a book that's being bought. It's being sold. We're making money off of it. Keep showing it to readers. And that's how it works. So that's kind of what we're looking at. But you're doing great. You're in the top 100,000 for the Kindle store. So that says your book is selling. You're doing a good job. And I saw you're well over 200 reviews now. So super awesome. Great job. I know that was just a re-release, so you're doing awesome. All right. Let's see. Does Ingram have the ability to print multiple versions of the same book for the various international markets so that the UK market could be sent versions with the pound on the barcode, Canada, blah, blah, blah? No, they do not. So that actually is not within their capability for print on demand. You would end up having to have different editions of your book with a different barcode and a different ISBN. And that gets messy. I wouldn't personally recommend it. You're probably not selling enough books into the retail markets internationally for it to really benefit you to be doing all that. And if you are selling enough books internationally to do that, then you're probably looking at offset print. My button's not working. There we go. Library control numbers. I requested and obtained one. In looking at other books for sale on Amazon, many do not have one. Pros and cons of not having one. There is no con of having a library control number. There's no con to having a PCIP block or a CIP block. It is library control numbers. It's well, it's a Library of Congress control number, sorry. But an LCCN, Library of Congress control number, is a number that puts you into the library system. It puts you on the library's map, essentially. A PCIP block or a CIP block is a cataloging block that puts all of your publisher and book information further into the system. So if you get a Library of Congress control number, not to be confused with a pre-control number, so a PCN, because a PCN is different, and indie authors and self-published authors can get a PCN, but it's harder to get an LCCN, a Library of Congress control number. There are requirements. Typically, you have to be with a publisher that's got 10 books or more by 3 or more different authors. So there are different rules there. But a Library of Congress control number gets you on the library's map. A CIP or PCIP block is the cataloging block that gets you into library catalogs. Doesn't mean they're stocking your book, but it does mean you're available in the catalog, and it's easier for them to put you on the shelf if you have a PCIP or a CIP block. The difference is a catalog in publication block, a CIP block, or a PCIP, a pre-publisher's catalog in publication block. Wow, it's like acronym Friday over here. So with a PCIP block, anyone can apply for those. You pay for it yourself, you get it, your book cataloged, you can put it right into your book. A good cataloger will also get you into the WorldCat system, the MARC system. These are the systems that libraries use. And so when they go to look up your book by the ISBN or the title, they find it, they can easily catalog and stock your book. A CIP block is something that is typically created by the Library of Congress. So Library of Congress, if you get a Library of Congress control number, they can go ahead and create a CIP block for you. And the CIP block then gets cataloged. It can also go onto your book. So that's kind of a perk of having a bigger publisher typically. And there is no drawback to that. It's going to make it easier to sell your book into the library market. Let me see. I know we had another. There we go. Let's see. Here was another question that came up this week, and I'm going to keep this one anonymous, but we had an author who realized that a competitor of theirs, or a comp author, we'll call them a comp author, another author who writes in their genre, who they've been friendly with in the past, they found out that this author was releasing a book that had a name very, very close to their book name and their book series that they've already been putting out and publishing and promoting. And they're kind of upset because, hey, that's my book name. And I got the question, what do I do? Should I confront them? Should I let it go? Is there anything I can do to stop them? You can't do anything. You can't do anything. So what you do is you smile, you ignore it, and you just keep on going. You cannot copyright or trademark specific words. You can, in some cases, you can trademark certain things, or you can copyright certain characters. For example, like Jack Ryan. Jack Ryan is like a copyright character. So that's very legal, though. That's something you need to go to a lawyer for help with. But most of us are not doing that with our books. And you can't keep people from like using the word murder in their book title. You simply can't. So in most cases, what we do if that happens, if someone, another writer, ends up with a book series that's similar to yours, or a title that's similar to yours, or anything like that, you know what we do? We simply say, that's awesome, good luck with that. And you let it go. I know it can have you fuming, but the thing is they may not have done it intentionally, number one. Number two, they may just be writing in the same genre as you and have similar ideas to yours. With so many books out, that happens. And the other thing is there's no confronting people on that. It's not going to help you down the line. And even though you may feel like they're piggybacking off of your hard work, if they do really well with their own book and their book series, well, guess what's going to happen? The keywords that they're using that you're also using may serve to elevate your book and get you more and more readers and more sales. I often say that when we think about competitiveness in the author industry, is that readers want more books like yours. If they loved your book, they want more books like yours. You cannot write fast enough to keep up with the demand of readers. So someone writing in your same genre or similar to you, or writing to the same fan that you have, is not taking anything away from you. It is giving the reader something else to read while they wait for your next book. So sometimes that can even become a collaboration or a way where you can share fans, because readers want more books. Avid readers can read a book in a day or two, especially in mystery and romance. It's not uncommon for readers to read a book in a day or two. That means that in a month, they're reading 10 or more books in a month. Can you write 10 books in a month? Chances are not. So they're going to read something else. And if they really loved your book, they want to read something like your book. It's not stealing anyone's reader. All it is having the same reader. And you can choose to lift each other up or coexist very peacefully and have a great relationship with other people, or you can get upset. And I mean, it's very different, of course, if someone's actually taking your work and like the same exact story, but the people have different names or something. Okay, that's different. But if they're just in the same genre as you and there's some similarities, don't be upset about it. It's not going to keep people from reading your book. And like I said, it may end up helping you find more readers. It may help you get more people interested in your genre, in your niche, and reading books like yours. So take it like that. There's room for everybody. There just is. If your book is great, readers are going to read it. Absolutely. And yeah, those people become great comps for your Amazon ads. They've got a book like yours. You want to borrow, I always call it borrowing. We're going to borrow their readers just like they're borrowing our readers. And we'll pass back and forth. And it can work beautifully. There's no need to stress over that. Not only is it not worth it, but it's not going to get you anywhere. And it can be a good thing, even though I know it can be upsetting at first. Exactly. You hope it, this sounds terrible. I'm letting my true self show, but when someone has a book that's similar to yours or the title similar to yours, you hope for one of two things. You hope that it's a great book and it is popular, so people are searching and stumble across your book and read it. Or you hope that it's kind of terrible, so it's like, oh, not that one. We mean the good one. Look how petty I'm being. We don't hope anyone has bad books, but you kind of hope that it's one or the other, because either way it makes you stand out a little bit, right? All right. Have you seen a TikTok book video that stood out for you? Yeah, so TikTok obviously is selling a lot of books. The thing that's important to know is TikTok is helping books sell. However, in most cases, it's helping books sell that cater to a certain audience or certain genres. So the book selling market that is benefiting the most from TikTok is those genres and books that have readers between the age of 15 and 23, I believe is what it is. 15 to 23. It is why the young adult fiction market has exploded. And that is absolutely helping those books sell. The other markets that are really benefiting from TikTok are romance, genre, and fantasy, or as we often call when they mesh together, romantasy. And that is typically geared more towards women in their 30s. So that's who's really benefiting from TikTok videos. And so you have to think of the audience and what they may be interested in. I have seen TikTok videos go viral just being a book flip. It is like literally where you video record the book opening up and flipping pages, and it's got music or it's got some words or a tagline going across the top. I've seen those go viral. I've seen a lot of videos go viral because they were being reviewed on TikTok, which means the author doesn't necessarily actually have to do anything. Colleen Hoover, her books went viral on TikTok and started selling like hotcakes, not because she was on TikTok making TikTok videos, but because people started reviewing her books on TikTok. And that's what went viral. So there's that. Sometimes you don't need to be on TikTok. You just need to find the people who are already on TikTok to read and talk about your book. And the TikTok videos that I've seen probably go the most viral, especially in romance and fantasy, some young adult and mystery kind of stuff. But the videos that I've seen go really viral is where you have people almost acting out the story, or you have someone or an image on the screen and it's kind of telling the story in tropes. So a really popular one is, let's go for romance. Really popular trope in romance is the falling in love with your brother's best friend and it would make him mad. That's a very popular trope in romance. So you might see a girl on the screen kind of looking off into space or something like that, and it says, when I met Howard, I never meant to fall in love. He's my best friend's he's my brother's best friend and my brother's gonna kill me, or something like that. So it's kind of dramatizing the story, but not the whole story. You don't have to tell people the whole story. You're dramatizing the trope and connecting it to your book. Because what it is, how many of us have seen TikTok videos or Instagram reels, whatever you're watching? How many of us have seen it where people are just telling their stories? They're telling their dramatic stories or their funny stories, or they're telling things that you would tell to a crowd almost. They're getting attention. And the idea is the same as that, is bringing your characters to life to tell their story through your video. And then at the end, you kind of round it up and say, read the book if you want to know the rest of the story. And those are very, very popular. And I've seen those. Probably one reason why I think they do so well is because it doesn't look like a commercial for a book. It looks like a normal TikTok video where people are talking, you've got videos and stuff like that. You've got drama. And that is why I think they do so well, because it doesn't look like marketing. It does not look like an ad, so people don't flip right by. It looks like engaging content in a story, and people stick around for that. Embedding links in TikTok, you actually can't do until you have a certain number of followers and all different things. So when you can use a link, but a lot of times you can't. So I would recommend having a short link that you share, and make sure that you're sharing your title and things like that, so people know what to go look for. And also know that when people are using TikTok, I don't think I've ever seen someone's first video go viral. Most of the videos and most of the authors I've seen have success with TikTok and going viral. They were posting videos with not much response for 3 to 6 months minimum before suddenly their book started getting attention. And they're posting videos like every day. So it's really important to realize that you're probably not going to create one great video and it's going to go viral. You're probably going to have to really work at creating content and building an audience, and then the right video will hit the algorithms at the right time with the right people, and then you might get that success. But even people who are really successful on TikTok, I'm in some groups and they talk about how they're constantly chasing the algorithms, that just because they had a video that went viral and they had a bunch of people follow their account doesn't mean that every video goes viral. They have to constantly chase those algorithms and figure out what TikTok's doing. So it's something that it's not like, wow, you did it, you can rest easy now. TikTok is something that you will always have to work at. Now they are adding in more and more paid options and advertising and stuff like that. But it's not a set it and forget it kind of thing. Excuse me. One thing I wanted to talk about this week, because I thought it was really interesting, is there was an article that came out talking about how bookshop.org has raised $2.3 million to launch ebook sales. So we have talked about this before, that bookshop.org is going to, supposedly this summer, is supposed to start releasing ebook sales on bookshop.org. And when you buy on bookshop.org, of course, you choose a bookstore, a local indie bookstore that you're purchasing from, and the indie bookstore fulfills that order, and they get, I think it's 30% that they get from that. So every time you buy on bookshop.org, you are directly benefiting and helping an indie bookstore. They have been doing paperback books for a number of years, and it's becoming the new place for indie book sales. Everyone's pretty much using bookshop.org, and I would say they're giving Amazon a run for their money, but I would say that they have done a lot to help indie bookstores compete in the online and e-commerce space with book, paperback, and hardcover sales. And bookshop.org is trying to release ebooks on bookshop.org and sell them. Now, they've raised a lot of money for this, and I'm curious to see how this plays out, because the thing is that they're trying, and this has been tried before and it's failed. They're trying to release ebook sales that don't go through a specific app. So when we think of Kindle, that goes through their specific app. It's a book that goes directly to the Kindle app. When we talk about Nook, Barnes & Noble, goes directly to the Barnes & Noble app, and that's how you access your book. And Bookshop is trying to have a more open opportunity where you buy your ebook and then you're able to read it either online or through a different source. You're not stuck with one app. And they're trying to do this, and readers haven't been as responsive to this in the past. Readers tend to have their device, they tend to have the app they read in, and they're not necessarily reading on a computer or online. So this has failed in the past, and Bookshop knows that. And so they're paying a lot of attention to that. They've done a ton of research, and they're really putting a lot into the idea of developing and launching ebook sales through bookshop.org to help benefit indies, because indie bookstores have not had a piece. Historically, they've not had a piece of ebook sales. And as we see ebook sales continue to grow along with audiobook sales, things are moving more and more digitally. And so if bookstores don't find a way to grasp part of that, like Barnes and Noble did with Nook, but if indie bookstores don't find a way to grasp more of those digital sales, then they are really going to be hurting and they may not be able to stay open. So Bookshop is trying to do that. Again, it's a ton of money. I'll be following it. I think it's very interesting. I hope it succeeds. I've got some concerns, as I'm sure a lot of people do, but we'll be watching that and keep you updated as it comes up. As I said, that's supposed to launch this summer, I believe. So interesting things to just keep up with in the book and publishing world. Caroline's asking, would they use a program like BookFunnel for delivery? I imagine they would, Caroline, but I'm not sure. They haven't released all of that information as far as I'm aware, but I would imagine they have to have some type of delivery system, either to deliver it as a PDF or in ebook format. So I would imagine it'd be somewhat similar to BookFunnel. But without an app, a dedicated app, which I don't know that they could have a dedicated app, not under the current infrastructure, but I don't know how exactly they're planning that. But again, I'll follow along and let you guys know as I know. I think it is one of those things that if indie bookstores are going to continue to make it in the market in the next 10 years, I think that getting a hold of part of the digital sales is going to be crucial. But whether or not the average reader and the average customer converts to that and how long that takes is more of the question in my mind. Anyway, so I think it's a good idea, but I'm curious to see how it executes and how readers respond. Yes, and I do agree. Bookshop.org, their search engine is not as refined as, let's say, Amazon. It does take more. You either have to go directly from the ISBN if you're doing a book title, and if you're doing book title, a lot of times it won't pull up a book. You may have to do book title and a full author name. It needs some refining, but I'll also say we are all very spoiled by Amazon. And you guys, Amazon is the largest, or I'm sorry, not the largest. Amazon is the second largest search engine in the world, coming behind Google. So Amazon has a very refined search engine. They've put a lot of money into it. They've developed that a lot. And second largest in the world next to Google. That's why we're spoiled with it. And bookshop.org has not been around as much and doesn't have the same algorithm and all of that invested in that. So it is a little bit harder to use. Again, it's all for a good cause and they are developing, and we watch as we go. Let me see. Yes, we are being asked for our code for Publisher Rocket, which I will find. The next question that I'll answer while I look for this was a question about what goes into a distribution marketing plan. So if you are looking to pitch your book for book distribution, typically you will need a marketing plan. And what goes into that is everything you plan to do to market your book. And that will depend specifically on your book. So that may include what kind of budget you have for advertising, what kind of outreach you plan to do. Are you creating a library campaign where you're going to be pitching books to libraries? Are you already working within a school market and have a certain amount of demand that would be fulfilled through that distributor? You are essentially creating the plan that tells the distributor how you are going to make them money if they partner with you. And I think that's kind of the thing that we have to remember, that when working in publishing, so often, especially indie authors or small publishing houses, they want people to partner with them because they need those partners in order to grow their business. But it's important that as authors and as small presses that we keep in mind that the people you're asking to partner with you are businesses and business people. And so they need you to be able to increase their bottom line. They need you to be able to help them make money. And when you present a marketing plan or an offer that tells them that if they go into business with you, they've got a good chance of earning money with and from you, that is what they're looking for. Because if you're not going to earn them money, you're either going to take up time, take up money, or it's not really going to benefit them. And if they're working just to keep a client and that client's not helping them build and maintain their business, then it's no longer a good business proposition. So we have to think of it in that way. If a book distributor is going to work with you, how are you going to help move books? Do they have any hope? How many books can they expect for you to actually move in a year? Are you going to be one of their top sellers? Are you going to have big bulk orders that they can then make profit off of? And that's what they're looking for, is they want to know what you're going to do to move books, because book distributors typically make a percentage profit off of your books. So if you don't sell books, you're not making money, but neither are they, aside from basic warehousing fees. And I did just drop my link for Publisher Rocket, which we talked about last week. I highly recommend Publisher Rocket, and I dropped my affiliate link right in the chat. So thank you. I had a couple of people I know who bought that program last week. Thank you to anyone who used my affiliate link. As we talked about last time, it doesn't cost you anything more. It just means that New Shelves gets a small kickback, which I appreciate. Let's see, is onlinebookclub.com a good place to get reviews? Are they legit? They are legit. Yes. However, I think that they've got a number of different packages, so you have to kind of be aware of cost. The thing is that you're not guaranteed reviews. You may use them and get no reviews. You may use them and get reviews on their website, but not have them show up anywhere else. So they may not show up on Amazon or Goodreads or anything like that, in which case, how much is a review on someone else's site that's not selling your book? How much is that going to actually help you as you sell your books? So I think you need to look at the cost involved and your overall goals. I wouldn't necessarily, like, if you're like, wow, I really need 15 Amazon reviews so that I can start running ads, I would not be going there to build up your review bank. I'd be using places like Hidden Gems, building an ARC team, doing giveaways and different things like that. I would not use them for building your review bank. However, they are a legitimate place that works with readers and online book clubs that can help get you connected into that world. But again, they're presenting you and giving you an opportunity. It's not a guarantee of sales or reviews. I've had people use it and be very happy with them, and I've had people use it and get no response. And part of that's just based on the book and the audience. So when you think book clubs and you think people in those book clubs, you need to think the genres that they typically read in or have interest in. Let's see. Oops. I'm wearing my button out, I think. All right. Where's the best place to get reviews and market middle grade and YA books? So as far as getting reviews, I think the best way to get reviews is, again, to ask for them, but also keep in mind that middle grade readers are probably not not leaving very many reviews online. So you need to market. If you're trying to get reviews, you need to be asking parents, grandparents, teachers. You need to be asking people who buy books for that age level, not asking kids. Kids, do you like it? Fantastic. But are they leaving reviews? No, their parents have to do it for them. So that's something to consider. As far as where to market to, marketing to schools is fantastic because, hey, they've got a lot of kids there. Marketing to libraries is another great place to go because libraries house books and a lot of parents bring their kids into the library, and most schools contain libraries. So that's a really great place to market your book. And as far as marketing direct to consumer, I think that Facebook is good for this because, again, we have to think that we want middle grade and YA readers to read it, but who's buying it? Parents, grandparents, teachers, librarians. those people, that age demographic, are probably hanging out over on Facebook. So that's where I would be marketing it. And of course, we always have Amazon ads, because on Amazon, we've got people who are already looking for that kind of product. So if I buy my daughter a book, she's 12. If I buy her a book and I see your book, then chances are that's probably a good market for you. And I do think that as far as reviews, this can be a really hard place to get reviews, because what happens is that, again, my daughter's 12, so she'll read a book and she'll tell me what she thought about it. But do I immediately think, hey, we should go leave an Amazon review? I don't. And she's not reading it on Kindle. So Kindle's not popping up and saying, rate this book. So it has to be something that's a little more intentional. And so that's why it's so important that you ask. And I do think it's one of those things that you're going to sell a lot more books. Your sale ratio to your review ratio is going to be a lot lower than, let's say, the average adult fiction title. It's just got to be more intentional. Now, something I always do, I tell my kids, I ask them to write reviews when they have a book series or a book that they read and they love. I always ask them, okay, let's write a letter to the author and tell them what we thought, and we put that up as an Amazon review. So sometimes it's getting creative like that and suggesting that, or asking classrooms if they could write you, what they thought of the book or something like that. But that takes more overall community engagement, and you have to be a lot more intentional. It's harder to get reviews for those books. Now, YA books, especially upper YA, if we're talking about books that are read by older people, those people are typically on devices. That's easier to leave a review. They're adults, they're actually shopping and paying, so it's different. All right, let's see. I think we've got time for one more question. Does Amazon post sales so customers see what's selling versus reviews? They don't. If a customer is really savvy, they could go and look at like the category or bestseller ranking, but most people don't. There are, of course, the bestseller lists and things like that, but no, they're not necessarily just customers don't know if something's selling or not. They assume that if a product has reviews, that it's being bought and therefore read or sold or whatever. But customers don't really know, and that's why that spot in particular is kind of hard when you're in middle grade. Customers are going off of reviews mostly. They are assuming that if someone's, if enough people have bought a product, that they're reviewing it. And that is why reviews are so important. And that's kind of all we've got to go off of, except for, as I said, category bestseller ranks and things like that, which will get you a orange banner if you make #1 in Amazon. All right, you guys, it was another great Friday. You guys had great questions. I am going to sign off. I've got the Henderson Las Vegas conference today. We're doing virtually, so hopefully we'll see some of you over there. Thank you for meeting me here. I'll see you next Friday, same time, same place, 10 a.m. Eastern. Bye.